What's up, Transformers fans? Mondo here, back with another Moonbase 84 transmission, and welcome to week 3 or episode 3 of Moonbase 84's year-long celebration of 40 years of Grimlock and the Dinobots. And this week we're shifting away from G1 for a time, and we're going to be checking out the Cyberverse Deluxe class Slug, which, in my opinion, is a figure that's way better than it has a right to be. But before we check him out, if you could hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and all that jazz, I'd really appreciate it. So of course here we have Slug in his Triceratops Dino mode, and I think it is a really nice Dino mode, and we'll take a closer look. He's rocking like some of that G1 color scheme, except for this time there's more of this like yellowish. It's like a yellowish, but like a goldish yellow. More so than his grays or silvers, but he does have some really nice details. The one thing I will point out is he does have that little tiny hollow section that goes straight through. Not a big deal to me. In most angles you barely notice it, but yeah, he's got, you know, the grays, some silver hits here with that, like, it's almost like a mustard yellow is, I guess, is what I'd call it. And of course his reds, some darker grays on the top, and of course the Triceratops head. You get some nice sculpted details on his frill. I don't know if that's what you call it. I call it a frill. And the red horns, and that really cool Triceratops head with the blue eyes. Slug, or back then it was Slag, I guess you'd say, is my second favorite Dinobot. So yeah, I always love picking up a new Slug. He does articulate a little bit in his Dino mode. His legs can shift that way. You get a little knee bend. Same with the front. His mouth does close. Not much. Well, his tail, I guess, can go up and down, and you can actually position his horns how you would, any way you'd so choose. Yeah, so a really nice Triceratops mode. He also comes with some accessories. Here I have them all plugged in together. We'll take a closer look at these in his robot mode, but I just wanted to show that he does have weapon storage. You can plug that up. He's coming undone because I'm putting too much pressure. So I will say on my copy, even though he's an older figure, he's still very tight, which is a good thing. But there he is with his blast effect out, his axe mounted on his gun, and he can go super Triceratops full out attack mode, I guess. So now what's left to do is we'll get him into robot mode, and we'll take a closer look at that. In here we have Slug all transformed up into his robot mode, and much like Dino mode, I think he came out really good. We get some more gray on the chest with some hits of blue in robot mode, but besides that the colors retain the same, of course, because he's using a lot of his Dino mode parts to form the robot. Not a lot with the panel work. We can take a closer look at that head skull. It is a skull, but head sculpt, and I love it. It's just a very grim, angry looking Slug, as is his nature. Not necessarily his nature in Cyberverse, that was more aimed at kids, so a little bit more lighthearted. I don't remember how angry he was in that show, but in general, compared to other iterations of Dinobots and Slug, I don't think he was as angry as usual, but still it's cool to see that grimacing head sculpt. I think it looks really cool. You get I can't speak today, an unpainted Autobot symbol, which I wish they did hit up with some paint to bring it out a little bit more. And I love, just like in the Triceratops mode, but it's more appropriate, I think, in the robot mode, the spiky shoulders. And we get some more paint hits there, coming down to the feet. And of course you've got the tried and true Slug design with the Triceratops head behind his robot head, with his horns, which you can still, of course, position with the frill on the back, or crest, or whatever they call it. But he is also really tidy. I mean, not a lot of junk hanging off of him at all, so pretty cool. Not very hollow, compared to, you know, some of the other figures in Cyberverse, except for maybe in here, but still really cool. He articulates very nicely as well. I mean, his shoulders are on a ball, so they go, oh, I don't have that pegged in all the way. Swivels, you get the elbow, no wrist, but you do get a waist, and you get some nice leg movement. It does get caught on his hip. You can push on through for his kicks. Past 90 knee bend, swivel at the thigh. Did I mention swivel up here? Does he have, no, swivel here at the forearm. And he's got ankle tilt. And he does have head articulation, but it can be tricky because, you know, his head is buried in the Triceratops head, but you can kick it back a little bit if you want some movement. Like that, looks down a tad bit, looks up a tad bit, a little tilt. Swinging back to accessories, of course you have his fully formed up accessory, Mega Cannon. But of course you can take the blast effect out if you want to, and take that out so he has his axe. And of course they plug into his hands, so you can have him like a traditional, I should say old school type Dinobot, except for he doesn't have a sword, he has an axe. And you can keep the blast effects off, or you can of course attach them back to the gun. And Slug is now all ready for battle. So that's my look at the Cyberverse Deluxe Class Slug. I said at the top of the video that he's a way better figure than he has a right to be. When you consider that he's from a kid-focused toy line, he really stands out. I've said that I think that the Warrior Class and Deluxe Class Cyberverse figures are fun toys, at least the ones that I've messed with at any rate, and Slug goes above that. Out of the Cyberverse toys that I have had, he's easily the best. To me, he easily could have been in a collector line, and if I didn't know any better, I would have guessed that he was. He also has a pretty cool transformation that I will say is tricky at first, but it's kind of intricate for a kids focused toy line, which leads me to think again that he would fit in a collector's oriented line. I will say though that there are a few little tolerance issues, at least on my copy, when transforming him, so it can get a tad frustrating. But once you get the transformation down, it's fine, and it is, like I said, a lot of fun and pretty cool, something you wouldn't expect, again, in a kid's toy line. And if you are interested in picking him up after seeing this video, even though he's been out for quite a few years now, you can still pick Slug up on eBay for a really, really decent price, as with most of the Cyberverse figures. Okay, that'll wrap up week number 3, or episode 3 of Moonbase 84's year-long celebration of 40 years of Grimlock and the Dinobots. Comment and let me know what you think about Slug here, and as always, thanks for docking.